Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with an interior. Who's surprised? Because I definitely know I am. I'm not a huge fan of interiors, as you guys know, but I really liked how the exterior for this Japanese house turned out, so I figured I might as well just do the interior since it didn't seem like it'd take way too much time since the build is pretty small. It's been a little while though since I filmed a commentary, so let's just get right into it. For this video, I actually didn't finish the entire interior. I started off with this little entryway you'll see at the beginning. Then I moved on to the kitchen, the living room, and then I made a little small laundry room off to the side that you'll see a little later. I also added this little block thing at the start of the video, and if you're wondering what that is, I just used it to measure the height of my avatar so I could see how to make all the furniture to scale so nothing was too small or too large. Because I know for my last interior, I didn't really make the furniture or the custom furniture to scale with my avatar, so whenever I was walking around the actual interior, all the furniture was too small or too large, so I wanted to make sure everything was in the right proportions. As you can see here, I'm starting with the kitchen, and for this interior, I did want to try experimenting with a lot more basic shapes, so I didn't really use any actual items that Bloxburg had. Pretty much everything is custom, which is because I wanted to try to improve my interiors and just kind of branch out a little bit, since I don't have much experience with building interiors. I started with the counters that are along the back wall, and then you'll see me working on these weird rectangle things, and basically they're gonna be transformed onto the roof, so there'll be little ceiling accents, and I can put a picture of what they look like so it makes more sense. But it's basically just to give the ceiling more depth and not just be a flat ceiling and have some more dimension to it. It's been a long time since I've done an interior, but this one honestly wasn't too bad. It only took me about a week, I think, since I pretty much tried to keep to a more minimalist Japanese style. Totally not an excuse to build less detailed. Totally not, I would never do that. But yeah, I didn't try to go too crazy with any of the detailing and go out of my comfort zone because I didn't want this to take like a month to make. And again, the build is small, so it was a lot more manageable to finish. I say finish, but I didn't actually finish the entire interior, it's just pretty much the downstairs. Whenever I start a build in Bloxburg, whether it's an exterior or an interior, I can pretty much only build for like maximum 30 minutes, and then I have to go do something else just to like stop the monotony of just constant building. I don't know, it just kind of helps to like break things up and not building for like 2 hours straight, which if that works for you then that's great, but I just take it small sections at a time. I've been playing a lot of MM2 and FE2 recently to break up the building process. I'm sure everybody knows what MM2 is, but FE2 isn't as popular, but it's really fun, so if you guys want to check it out, it's definitely a fun game. It may seem boring at first when you're just starting out because a lot of the maps are pretty basic, but the better you get and the more you level up and unlock more maps, then you can unlock pro servers, which are a lot more interesting to play. I will say though, it does kind of require a stronger PC or mobile device since there's a whole lot going on the maps. Like even my computer sometimes doesn't run it too well since there's a whole lot going on, but it is really fun if you're able to play it.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per...
Also, I'm just gonna mention this now before I forget, but the color scheme for this was kind of all over the place. I don't really know what was happening. It took me a long time to figure out what I wanted for the colors and textures. So I think I threw most of them in around here, but I wouldn't copy any of them completely just yet. I'll just throw up the page right now so you can see all the different colors and textures that I ended up using pretty much for the rest of the build and how it turned out in the end. I figured out a color scheme in the beginning that I originally liked, and then as I kept building and then I figured out the lighting kind of changed how the colors looked, I ended up having to change the colors once again. So I just used the ones that I popped up on screen for you guys. I also am taking the ACT for the last time tomorrow, so definitely wish me luck because this is the last chance that I have to do good on it. I didn't do bad or anything on it before. I've taken it like 2 other times, but I just want to improve my score a little bit more so it'll look better for colleges. I should probably be studying for that since it's tomorrow instead of filming this commentary, but it's fine, I'll get to it later. I'm still working on the kitchen. As you can see, the kitchen definitely took me the longest just because I made all the cabinets and counters out of basic shapes, and then I also made a little counter thing in the middle. It really wasn't too bad, so you can see exactly how I'm building it if you guys want to replicate it, but it just took a little bit, but it wasn't bad to build at all or too complicated. After the kitchen, I started on these little door things. I've seen these a lot in Japanese interiors that I was looking at, so I wanted to implement some of them on different doors and windows that I had in the build, and they were pretty easy to make too. They weren't complicated at all. It's kind of like sliding doors to connect the outside to the inside, so I knew I wanted to put those in the build to make the space seem more opened and less closed off, and it also provided natural light too. I think around now is when I'm starting on the living room, and I started with the table console as you'll see, and then I moved on to the couch a little after that, which again they were both made custom, but they weren't complicated or anything. They were super easy to make. I had a few people comment about this in some of my other videos asking if they could replicate anything that I'm making, and you guys don't have to ask. Like, you can copy anything you want that I make. I don't mind at all. Honestly, the fact that someone wants to copy something that I'm building, like, that's great to me. I'm not sure why you would want to, because my builds aren't the best, but definitely take any inspiration or even copy anything you want. I don't care at all. I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but I didn't have my graphics turned up all the way when I started building, so if you see a change in how the build looks, then that's why. I also want to try out filming in real time instead of just doing voiceovers or commentaries. I think it'd be fun to experiment with those types of videos just to like switch things up, but there's a few problems. Since my keyboard and mouse, sorry, are super loud, and I feel like it'd be kind of distracting just to like listen to while I'm building. Like, here's an example. This would be me while building. It's just super loud. And then I also usually like to listen to music or watch like videos while I'm building so I don't get bored easily, and I don't know how I would be able to do that. I also feel like I wouldn't be able to build and talk at the same time. I don't really know how to explain things well, so I think it would be kind of problematic, I guess. And then I also have siblings, so I feel like there would just be interruptions and they'd be like, what are you doing? Like, why are you talking to yourself? I don't know. I usually try to film commentaries when no one's really home, so it's never been a problem so far, so I'll just have to think on it and see if it would work, but I do want to try it out eventually. When do y'all get out for summer though? I think it's kind of crazy that some people are still like in school and they're not on summer break yet. I've been on summer break since like the end of May, and it's been really nice, but I was just wondering if y'all also got out at the end of May, or if school enters into June as well, or maybe even July, which is so crazy to me, but you never know. I also didn't mention this earlier, but I had this little entryway thing that I built out of basic shapes, at least for the walls. It just kind of separates the entryway space from the living room and the kitchen to like take off your shoes. I think it just helps to keep the outside from getting to the inside, and it's kind of just like a little separation. So I thought that was cool, and I wanted to implement that into the build, which is what I did. Since I made the entryway walls out of basic shapes, I couldn't fit all the wall trims. I just ended up having to make them using basic shapes, but I think it turned out okay. This video was also supposed to be out earlier, but I was in the middle of building and I couldn't get it to work for like 2 days. I thought it was just me and my computer at first, but then I saw some other people were having problems, so I'm not sure if it was just like a me thing or it was a Roblox thing. I'm not sure. I don't know why this is kind of funny to me, but I couldn't get a door to fit into the small little bathroom that I made behind the kitchen, so instead of trying to work around that, I just built a walkway around the house to get into the bathroom. So I'll include that whenever I finish the interior, but I'll pop up a picture of what I'm talking about, but I basically just made a wraparound to the bathroom since you can't really get to it otherwise. That's about it for the interior though. I added in a few more decal plants and small little decorations, which were done off camera, which you'll see at the end. So let's just get right into the tour. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Any of the decals that I use, like for the walls and the plants for example, I'll make sure to link those in the description, or the people that I use the decals from. I really like the open concept and how everything is kind of connected, but then it's separated by the tiny little entryway, which keeps the outside space from the inside space. I do wish I made the laundry room a little more detailed, but I can always add a few more details to that for the next part of the interior. That's about all for today's interior though, so I hope you guys enjoyed.